Good morning. Hello, everybody, and welcome to KSU, Kent State University. So today we are going to speak about our professional development module presentation, which is on enhancing critical thinking through reading. Of course, our presentation aims at identifying, demonstrating, and applying a number of critical thinking strategies to fictional, non-fictional texts. But today, we will show you the strategies used with fictional texts.
Okay, so before we start the activity for our model presentations today, we will give you the overview of our PDM of our model. So the model entitled Enhancing Critical Thinking Through Reading, and this model divided into 3 sessions. The first session will discuss about critical thinking and the reading strategies to enhance the critical thinking itself. Well, the strategies that we will use in our module are predicting, reading for gist, effective questioning, and semantic mapping. So there are 4 strategies. While the second session of our module discuss about the implementation of the strategies that we discuss, and not for fiction text. And then the third session will discuss about the implementation of our module dealing with non-fiction text. Well, the reason why we choose critical thinking for our professional module is because in this era, we need to make the students to be more creative. And through the critical thinking, the students can be more creative. And then reading is considered to be the best materials that we can use for our students to enhance the critical thinking, because there are many informations that the students can have from the reading activity. Well, in these presentations, for the 30 minutes presentations, we will show you the activity that can be used to enhance the critical thinking through reading for fiction text. That is in section 2.
So before we proceed, ladies and gentlemen, I have a question for you. So the question is, what can happen in 1 hour, just 1 hour? What can happen, and what are the things that can be accomplished in 1 hour? Okay, for example, for me, in 1 hour, I can read 5 novels. Oh, sorry, I mean 5 chapters. Yeah, I can do that in 1 hour. What about you guys? So, can you discuss this in pairs, please? What can be accomplished in just 1 hour? The floor is yours. So I'm moving around the tables. Okay. You discuss in pairs, right? Right?
No. Sorry.
Okay. Time is up. Okay, let's hear from you. Mr. Ricardo.
I think I can fly from Cleveland to New York.
You can fly from Cleveland to New York in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Is it?
I think so.
Yes. Yes, very good. So Ricardo can fly from Cleveland to New York. It takes him 1 hour. Great. So let's hear from our friend from Brazil, Ana Maria.
Well, in 1 hour, I can clean my house.
Good. Mari can clean her house in 1 hour.
I
Yeah.
can prepare moqueca.
Ah, what is macaca?
Oh, you don't know moqueca?
No.
Moqueca is a Brazilian dish.
Good, Brazilian dish.
Yeah, very delicious.
Yeah, in 1 hour.
In 1 hour.
Right.
And I can also have dinner with someone.
Yes,
Yes.
you can have dinner
Especially.
with someone.
Yeah.
You mean one-on-one date, for example,
Why not?
with your boyfriend?
Could be.
For me, it's okay. 1 hour, you go to a restaurant, for example, 1 hour, yes. Cafeteria, for example. What about you, Fridalia?
I can do my laundry.
Laundry. Very good. It takes you just 1 hour?
Yes.
Okay. Someone else? Okay. So these are the things we can accomplish in 1 hour. Okay. So this is how it goes. And this is how we are going to talk about the story, the short story that we're going to see right now. Okay.
Hi everyone, are you still here? Hello, other iLabers. Okay, hi from Kent State University. Right, so let's continue our presentations. Can you see the picture? Okay, see the picture? All right, so I want you to give your idea or comment about what you find out when you see the picture. What comes to your mind when you see the picture? Okay, so maybe Ana Maria?
I have to make a choice,
Mhm.
probably.
You have to make a choice.
Yeah.
Okay, from what point of view you say?
Yeah,
From the
could be,
picture.
Yeah,
From the picture.
from the picture.
Okay, so you have to make the choice.
Yeah.
All right. Christina?
It could be before and after. Like the first one is alive, the second one is no longer.
No, okay, no longer alive. All right. Thank you. Osama?
I'm not really sure, but I can imagine what's happening in my mind, for example.
For example.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you can imagine what happened.
What happened next year?
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Pida?
Maybe I'm just thinking that what should I do with this school?
What you should do with the school. All right. Okay, so what we are going to discuss is about the irony. So as you see there, irony with a question mark. Now, is there any idea from you what is irony? Or you have the examples of the irony? Marlene?
Does it mean two conflicting ideas?
Conflicting ideas? Okay. Other point of view? Ricardo?
Irony is a figure of speech. So maybe sometimes when you speak, you affirm something, but it isn't exactly what you mean. Sometimes it's the opposite.
Sometimes it's the
Yeah.
opposite.
Yeah.
So exactly
So
you
it's
say,
an irony because
yeah. So
it's assume something, but
But
it
the
is the
reality
opposite. Yeah.
it's different.
It's a kind of paradox.
Okay,
I think so.
good. The last one, from Fidelia.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but maybe we need to, if we want to say something, but in opposite side.
Yeah. All right. So that is irony. Okay. So let's see the answers. So this is the irony. Actually, all your answers are true. All right. Okay. Next activity.
Hello everyone. Are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay, now we're going to read a story. We're going to apply one of the strategies we talked about, reading strategy. It is reading for gist. So you can access this story on the symbol we mix. I'm sure Dr. Mark shared it with everyone. What you're supposed to do now is just read the two first paragraphs. Please don't read everything. And I'm going to show you these handouts. Read the two first paragraphs and try to decide what the problem in these two paragraphs is. Okay? Can you help me with the handouts? You can access this on the symbol. Okay, you have 4 minutes. Ricardo, not the whole story. First two paragraphs.
Okay.
Keep it folded. Okay, time is up. Finished? Can someone share what the problem is in the two first paragraphs? Christina?
The problem here is that how are they going to tell Mrs. Mallard about her husband's death, knowing that she has a heart trouble?
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Is there someone from the audience who can share something? Yeah, this is the answer. So what we did now is applying the reading for gist. This is something we can do with our students to, before they read the text, to enhance the critical thinking and to activate the schemata of trying to guess what the whole story is going to be about. Now we move to the next one.
All right, everybody, I would like you now to unfold your handout and complete reading the story and find out where is the irony which is being used by K-Chop. Okay, you have 5 minutes to complete reading the story. It can be 7. Okay, people who are watching us from the audience, I hope you can access the handout and complete reading the story. All right, are we done? Okay. Now, would you mind sharing the irony? How is irony being used in the story? Who would like to share? Do you have any response from the
The
audience?
great irony here is while Ishtar's Marla family, they were worried, concerned about without knowing how to give her the news about her supposed husband death.
Okay.
So the great irony is that he was still alive,
Mm-hmm.
and when she knew that she died,
That's true.
not from joy,
Yeah.
but because of the sadness,
Mhm.
because she knew that her husband was still alive. So it was a kind of a great irony because the fact of he is still alive caused her death.
Yeah.
So
So a
this is
lot-
the great
yeah.
irony.
Great. So a lot of the assumptions create the irony. The assumptions that she is going to be like affected because of her husband's death, okay? But actually she's not that much affected, and everybody's concerned how to tell her that your husband died. But then, you know, she's not affected and by her husband's death because it's like her relief, okay?
Yeah.
So, okay. And as Ricardo has just pointed out, is the fact that he is alive and not dead. This is, you know, the biggest irony is that he wasn't even on the train, right? Okay. So I would like you to draw your attention to the first two lines, okay? So to show the different aspects of irony in the story. If you look at the first two lines, says great care was taken to break to her as gently as possible the news of her husband's death, right? So this is the great care. Ironically, she didn't need that much care because it was like a relief. And if you look at the first paragraph, you have in the newspaper, the railroad disaster was received with Brentley Mallard's name leading the list of killed. So, you know, everybody assumed that he died
Yeah.
because he was supposed to take the train, but he didn't, right? Okay. You have any other you know, ironies that you discovered? Okay, let's look at the third paragraph. If you look at, can you see the line where you have here, there stood facing the open window a comfortable, roomy chair. Into this, she's saying, pressed down by a physical exhaustion that haunted her body and seemed to reach into her soul. What is the significance of a physical exhaustion? What is she suffering? So she's sitting on the armchair to feel the comfortable armchair as if she has been tired and she's taking a rest. So ironically, her bond to her husband was like, you know, something which is so tiring. It was like he like she had shackles in her legs or something that ties her. So she was in this physical exhaustion, and she needed the armchair to rest from this pain. So that's again another type of irony used here. And if you move further down, okay, like one more paragraph down, you have the sentence starting with "she was young." Can you see that? Okay, she was young with a fair, calm face, whose lines bespoke repression and even a certain strength. Is there anything that surprised you here? Her face bespoke repression. What does this show you? Was she happily married? Her marriage was some sort of a repression. She was suppressed somehow. So it was like, although she was young, her marriage showed that she was repressed. Okay, so this is another, level of the irony being used. And if you move further down, okay, the next paragraph, you have, there was something coming to her, and she was waiting for it fearfully. So, what do you think she was waiting for? Freedom. But here he's telling you, Fidalia, that she was waiting fearfully.
Yeah.
So unconsciously, there was this imminent fear that something bad is about to happen. She cannot understand what it is, but she feels on a certain level that although she can, she's feeling that she is relieved, he finally died, okay? But there is this fear that something bad is gonna happen. She cannot explain it, but it's there. So this is again another level of irony, imminent fear, something bad is gonna happen. And if you look further down, you have, there was something coming to her, and she was waiting for it, I have already said this, yeah, the imminent threat to her dreams, okay? I want you also to look down here at the last sentence of this paragraph. She said it over and over under the breath. Okay, what did she say? Free, free, free. Can you see this quotation? Okay, so she's saying it, but it's not coming out. It's like something suppressing her. Okay, free, as if she's, in a dream and she's trying to say something. She cannot. She cannot even say it. Her voice is not loud enough to say that. So she's so feeble. She's so weak. She wants to be free. It's like she's desperate for freedom, but she cannot. Okay. I would like also to draw your attention to, at the last 3 lines of of the following paragraph. Okay. But she's so beyond that. Can you see that? But she's so beyond that bitter moment, a long procession of years to come that would belong to her absolutely. And she opened and spread her arms out to them in welcome. Okay? Here he's commenting about the fact that she was, in love with her husband. She didn't hate her husband, and he wasn't cruel to her. But still, in spite of the fact that he was, he was fine, he was like maybe the traditional husband, okay, and he loved her and everything, and she really cried when she got the news that he died. But she's so beyond that. Okay, he's died. Now I have new prospects that, I'm thinking about my future. I'm thinking about, the good things that's going to happen. So she's so beyond that bitter moment, a long procession of years. She's thinking about her future, how she's going to be free. If you look at the following paragraph, you have here, there would be no one to live for during those coming years. She would live for herself. So this shows you that she wasn't living her own life. Someone was telling her how to live her life. Okay, this is the irony. She wasn't living her own life. And at the end, the following paragraph, and yet she had loved him sometimes. Often she had not. Okay, here he's commenting on the possessive love. He loved her. Yes, we believe that. Mr. Mallard loved her, but he was possessive. He was trying to suppress her, okay, to define everything that she has to do. Okay, another level of irony, her sister, all the time she's concerned, Louise, open the door, I beg, open the door. She wants her to open, she wants her to open the door because she is scared that she might be doing something to herself because of grief. But in fact, she was sitting on an armchair thinking about the future. Okay? The following paragraph you have here, she prays the quick prayer that life might be long. Can you see this line? Okay? It was only yesterday she saw with a shudder that life might be long. Yesterday, when her husband was alive, she wanted her life to end. On a certain level, she wanted her life to end. But now when she knew that, he's no more, she's thinking of her future. She wants, she's more excited about her future. Okay, this is again irony. At the last paragraph, you have here, someone was opening, and this is the big irony of the story. Someone was opening the front door with a latch key. It was Brentley Mallard who entered a little travel-stained, composedly carrying his gripsack and umbrella. He had been far from the scene of the accident and did not even know there had been one. So he didn't even know there was an accident because he was not on the train. That's the irony. Okay, we knew that what we know is that he was on the train. But the fact that he wasn't, and he didn't even know that there was an accident, and he came. And the irony is that everybody tried to hide him from the sight of his wife. They don't want his wife to see him right away because this might affect her heart. Okay, well, because it's a surprise. Ricardo.
There is something interesting here. For example, this expresses that, see, even her family doesn't know about her feelings. How is the relationship in your marriage? So this demonstrates that only the couple knows how they live together.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a good comment about it. Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, as well.
Yes.
It feels like Mrs. Mallard had her internal ironies and internal dilemmas, whether she loves or she doesn't love her husband, living her life and not living her life. So by the story, it tells us how she was dealing with her own ironies in life.
That's right. Yeah. So this shows the complicated, technique how she's using it. All right, that was our presentation. Thank you a lot for participating. That was presented to you by Ayub from Morocco, David from Indonesia, Rashid from Morocco, and
Nancy from Egypt.
myself, yeah. And our special thanks to Kent State University, IRIX, and the Department of State for, supporting this program.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. This was our practical part of our professional development module, and it was about the strategies used in reading. So we have seen predicting, effective questioning, and also irony. And now I think the floor is yours. You feel free to ask any questions and to give comments. And we invite our friends and scholars from other universities to ask questions as well. Floor is yours.
Can you extend this concept beyond this exercise? What ways does it fit in to other ways? And you can take some time thinking about that and just maybe come up with some ideas.
So we can extend this to a lot of activities. So our idea was, instead of just teaching students in the traditional ways of teacher giving questions, WH questions, how, where, who, which are easy for students to find.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is to make students think deeper than that, not the surface of a story like this one or the surface of a novel or a book. Involve them to, like Nancy did with the group, find, for example, figures of speech, find what's between the lines, why did this character act this way, why do you think this happened, for students to think critically, to analyze, and to use these strategies. So the strategies we just mentioned can be extended and used from other works. Mm-hmm. The works we proposed in our PDM are two. It can be fictional or non-fictional. We use now a fictional example, but teachers also can use these strategies on non-fiction, like a newspaper article.
Mhm.
We know now, and we need it, for example, in our countries. This is something we need for our students to understand, that not everything you read or everything you watch on TV, especially with the media, don't believe it from the first time. You should analyze it. You should ask why, for example, in a newspaper article, why did they give this space to this, not larger space? Why this picture, not the other? Why this content, not the other? So these strategies can be used also in a variety of ways.
Yeah, I also have something to say. We are trying to have the reading strategies go beyond the content. So what we are trying to do is that not to ask about the content, like what happened, what did Mr. Mallard, what happened to Mr. Mallard, we're not asking about content questions. We're trying the students to, we're trying to have the participants or the teachers make their students think about between the lines. Because there are a lot of texts there are certain messages laid between the lines. So that's what we're trying to do with reading in general. It can be fiction or non-fiction, but taking the students to something more elaborate than just content questions.
As you can see this, I mean, here in our internships, in my internship, for example, in my high school and middle school, students and learners in general are encouraged by the teachers, I mean, to read and, of course, to find ways to do things using their critical thinking. I think this is one of the positive atmospheres that my colleagues and I will take back home with us. So I think it's a very good topic to encourage students to think critically and actively.
And then, as we know that in some reading materials, the questions are provided, and then some of the questions are not challenging for the students. I mean, it cannot make the students think critically. So with these 4 strategies that we discuss in our model, but only 3 that we discuss, we do in our activity. So it shows that the students, the students can think, know more about the material, the reading material. So that's why critical thinking strategies is very good.
Yeah.
Are there guidelines or are there specific consider specific factors to consider in choosing the materials? You said that it can be fictional or non-fictional. So are there some specific factors to consider in choosing the reading
we are
materials?
considering how to discuss and how to deal with an authentic text. Because when we think about fiction, we think about literature, and literature is a type of authentic text. There will be certain adaptation, of course, according to the length of the text that we are providing. So there should be a certain adaptation to that. And also, if we are getting something which is non-fiction from the newspaper, there will be certain considerations to the age group, to the appropriacy of the text itself, etc. So we are dealing with authentic text, right.
And also, when we choose, as teachers, when we choose text for students, or when we want to adapt authentic text, we should think about the level of complexity. Things are easy for students and they don't involve them in enhancing critical thinking. But it should be a little beyond the level of students, a little complex. And here we suggested in our professional development module, the taxonomy of Bloom, which has 6 levels, 6 abilities. So try to move students from the basic ones, which are just remembering and understanding and recalling facts, to the higher ones, which are applying, evaluating, analyzing, etc. So teachers should think about that when they are selecting materials.
I had a chance to observe a class in a high school, and the students, they were asked to read a book about the Vietnam War, and they had to work with the history teacher. So I could observing that they were applying exactly what you are proposing. So it was not just read the book to know about the history, about the Vietnam War, but they read something fictional, it was fictional, but they had to apply what they learned there in that book with the historical facts. So it was a kind of partnership, and they had to use this kind of
approach, I can say.
Yeah, and also history, in history, the people who write history are not necessarily are saying the truth. So
Yes.
this is encouraging students to think beyond, the voice which is talking.
Yeah.
The voice is giving dominance to certain people and, shadowing certain people. So encouraging students to even think about that, to even think about the writer. How is he really, like saying the right thing or not? So
Okay, so what you mean is the critical thinking is not based on the reader response. It is more related to the author's, writer's intention. So this is something I really like because it's not about free interpretation of the reader. So the reader has to think about what the author wants to express. What is the message? It's not only about the reader interpretation.
yes, and also the reader has the right to suspect the validity of what the author
Yeah,
is saying.
He's supposed to
So-
interact, but it's not only his own opinion about the reading. So this is something interesting about critical thinking. It's not based on the reader responses. Yeah.
I just know that we have viewers who are maybe in other disciplines. So in your search for this, I know it's focused on reading and literacy. Did you see any examples in other fields where critical thinking is used?
I think in all subjects.
Okay.
For example, as mentioned, history teachers, instead of just saying these are the causes of World War II, these are the consequences, and giving fact to students, give them a chart, give them a map, show them a video or a documentary, show them different opinions about the war, and make them talk, make them analyze, make them give their opinion, make them analyze things. So critical thinking can be used in all domains. And it is the key word in 21st century teaching. Critical thinking is very important in everything. So I think it can be applied in all subjects.
Yes,
Okay.
especially in speaking. I mean, we can use this strategy of debating, and we have for and against. People are for, people are against, and we can use it. It's very effective.
And also for the social teachers, this is very helpful. I mean, the strategies for using in teaching in social, like talking about what happened in community, and then many others. So this is not only for English and for literature, but for different subject area.
So we take as long as you involve students to think and to defend their answers and to know, to be aware of what they're talking about, not just because you give them the content as a teacher and they're giving it back, you're using critical thinking. And the activities can be varied.
It also encourages a lot of interaction in the role of the students, because whatever they are reading, they can be more interactive if they have this strategy of prediction, effective questioning, reading for gist, reading for specific information. So they are more involved in the text they are reading, whatever the text can be.
So thank you very much for being here, for listening to us and watching us. Thank you, KSU, IREX. Thank you, USA.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Terima kasih.
Shukran.